All right, so good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for being part of tonight's program. This is Copeland People's Parliament, and we are glad to have you in the studio. Joining us with me in the studio via Zoom is Mr. John Agbonifo, all the way from Edo State. He's a regular on this program and a stakeholder in Copeland organization. Mr. John Agbonifo, please, you are welcome to Copeland People's Parliament tonight.
Thank you, Mr. Christian Ako.
Yes, thank you. It's a pleasure to have you. Here we dissect socio-political issues as they affect the Nigerian people. We look at daily topics ranging from national, social, and economic issues as they affect the Nigerian people. Tonight we'll be looking at a number of issues ranging from 1 to 5. I remain Mr. Ako Christian Oche, otherwise known as G Process. I welcome you here to Open People's Parliament live all the way from Abuja, Nigeria. So I'll be taking the topics that we have tonight, and we have a number of topics, starting with the episode. The episode for tonight will be quite interesting. One expects that there should be a shift in the narrative, but of course, we are still where we are. An era of Kwams, lack of equity, transparency, and rule of law is breeding lawlessness under Tinubu watch. Era of Kwams, lack of equity, transparency, and the rule of law is breeding lawlessness under Tinubu's administration. And here are the trending stories we taking a look at. We understand how this Kwam 1, Kwam 2, and now we have Kwam 3. In the space of just 3 days, we have 3 Kwams already, and more are still loaded. Number 1, on trending stories, we have the era of Kwam. Kwam 1, 2, and 3. And we are expecting more Kwams. In a country where there's lawlessness, individuals who feel they are affluent enough to hijack plane are beginning to show themselves, as exemplified by K1, otherwise known as Kwam 1. That is for number 1. And number 2, we're looking at the EFCC arrested Aminu Tambuwal over 189 billion naira fraud. EFCC arrested Tambuwal over 189 billion naira fraud. Tinubu uses EFCC against opposition. In the wake-up of the 2027 general election, where opposition are beginning to assemble themselves ahead of the tax ahead. Tinubu is now using the instrumentality of the EFCC to go against the key figures of the opposition, especially those in the coalition. And number 3 topic for tonight is Nigeria has more people in poverty than China and India combined. This statement is credited to Mr. Tinubu, who has made the statistical analysis of how the bad government in the country has been able to drag more people into poverty, and we have more Nigerians languishing in poverty when compared to China and India combined. This is embarrassing, and it has to stop. How can it stop? It cannot just stop by mere prayers or mere words or mere wish. It has to stop by deliberate actions by Nigerian people who will go about everything that it takes to get a government of the people. Number 4, Nigeria spends 22 billions on Aso Rock Clinic, yet President Tinubu often travels to UK hospitals for medical tourism. As I speak to you, the Senate President is already in UK for medical tourism, for emergency medical tourism. These are some of the items we'll be looking at. And number 5, of course, it has not gone away. It remains Copeland. Copeland drags ABC to court of public opinion. So these are the number of topics that we really have for tonight's episode. Mr. Jonathan, please be at liberty to look at this topic and decide on which one that you'll be going for. But let me start with the Kwam 1, Kwam 2, and Kwam 3. Kwam 3, the era of Kwams, it has been coined out by the Gen Z generation, especially on X, otherwise formerly known as Twitter, where the young Nigerians are beginning to question the rationale behind pardoning Kwam 1, that is K1, and going so hard against the female folk in person of Comfort, who was accused of unruly behavior in the plane by not switching off her phone, and she was dragged out and dehumanized, which is very, very bad. And no matter the crime that an individual has committed, it should not amount to dehumanization, rendering her naked in a public show. And it didn't end at that. The Ibom Air went ahead and even publicized the picture and video of the ugly incident, which is very, very bad. Key figures have been bringing out their voices against this action, as the lady has already been taken to jail in less than 24 hours. The speed at which this prosecution was done attracted reaction and condemnation by Nigerians, given that K1 is still moving freely and is yet to be charged to court, despite holding plane to ransom, which is otherwise referred, in the context in which K1 has carried out his own dastard act, is best referred to as an act of terrorism. So if in the country, the same law, the same constitution, yet the poor lady gets imprisoned for using her phone, probably taking a selfie in a plane, and playing the music that she would best prefer to listen to at that moment. She was arrested, taken to court, and now she's languishing in jail. This is very bad and dishonorable. In a situation where K1 is moving freely, and he takes a government agency to even render apology on his behalf. This is unacceptable in a country that should be seen as the giant of Africa. There can be no giant of Africa without the rule of law. There can be no giant of Africa without equality before the law. We are not just against testing the law to the level it has been done against the lady, but what is good for the geese is good for the gander. It's best that the law applies to all parties that have heard. Judgment or justice should not be selective. That is the idea. And we're also looking at the arrest of, while having these two narratives, these two discussions going on, that is Kwam 1 and Kwam 2, just yesterday night, we saw an ugly incident. The same Ibom Air, where passengers protested heavily against a woman that insists that all her luggages must follow through the plane she's entering, which led to deprivation of other passengers' luggages from gaining access to the plane, leading to delays and eventual cancellation of the flights. This situation became so ugly that a lady was seen taking video of the scene, and they continued to protest until the woman was excused out of the plane as the last person who disembarked on the plane before it would take off. And eventually the lady was seen complaining that she already booked her flight to the UK, £2,000, and who's going to make the refund to her, having already booked a ticket with the expectation that she was expected to have departed Uyo last night. So these are some of the issues that are affecting the aviation industry, and the double standard that have been witnessed by spectators and observers in respect to the test of the law and the impartation of the Nigerian Constitution has been brought into question by so many people who see that the Nigerian law has been designed only to be very active against the masses, but very, very, very inactive or not being used against the so-called elites. Elites are supposed to be people who respect the law, who takes care of their country, who ensure that their country is in the right frame of mind and doing very well economically and otherwise. But the Nigerian elites have not been found to be worthy to be called elites in that regard. So, with me in the studio, via Zoom, is Mr. John Agbonifo. Mr. John Agbonifo, given the number of issues that we will have for tonight's Problem People's Parliament, what's your contribution? What's your reaction? What's your response to some of these issues that we have so raised? Mr. David.
Yes, Mr.
Okay.
Christian. Good evening once again, and
All right.
good evening, everybody here present on the Parliament tonight. We have a number of trending stories I'll be looking at this evening, but of particular interest to me now is the EFCC arrest of Mr. Tambuwa over 189 billion fraud. Tinubu uses EFCC against opposition. I think this is pathetic. This is quite pathetic because now recall that in recent times we saw defections here and there into APC, and Nigerians were grumbling about the ruling party wanting to coerce everybody into their party and thereby making Nigeria a one state party, which is not healthy for our democracy. You see a situation where governors who have intention to come for second term are not too sure of what will happen in 2027, and thereby they are defecting to join the ruling party so that to guarantee their return to office. And you see those that are completing their second term also doing same thing so that they can find a soft landing and proceed to the Senate, without being harassed or disturbed or having a fraud case levied against them and distorting their political journey. The same thing now has also cropped up here again against the opposition. Now, by the time you start with members of the opposition and now forcefully persuade them to join the ruling party, definitely there will be no competition in 2027. Because if all the political giants are all in one party, then who are we going to? Where is the contest? Where is the competition? Where are the choices available to Nigerians? So this is very, very condemnable, honestly. It is something that we should not encourage, and I expect all civil societies to stand up against this and ensure that instrument of government is not used to harass people unduly. If we want to drive corruption, let us drive corruption objectively, and let us determine those that have mismanaged the country's money and bring them to book. If we are not driving corruption, let us leave it at that and continue and see how we can get a better Nigeria through those that have the interest of Nigeria at heart. This selective approach to justice does not work at all. It ridicules us, not just even before ourselves. It also ridicules us before international community. Nigeria, who is said to be the giant of Africa, like you have said now, and we are conducting ourselves in this manner. It's very appalling. So there's need for us to begin to do things properly and allow for healthy competition in our democracy. That's the first step to getting a workable and a workable Nigeria. Thank you, Mr. Ako.
We seem to be having challenges with some section of your feedback. because of network challenge over there. What we are saying in essence is when you look at the arrest of Aminu Tambuwal, given some of his alliances that he's building in recent time, you understand he has shown his open admiration for the person of Mr. P2B, and probably Tinubu is already anticipating his possibility of emerging as P2B's vice presidential candidate, or having a commitment towards supporting Mr. P2B come 2027. He probably would have seen this and he felt the best he could do is to go after Aminu Tambuwal and get him arrested. These are just basic realities that we are facing in the country. And when you look at the same EFCC, they have been so docile, so toothless bulldog, so to say. The EFCC has failed to arrest Kogi State former governor in the person of Yaya Bello. They dramatized the arrest to the extent that Nigerians got tired of them. Today, the same EFCC have the effrontery to just go one way and pick Aminu Tambuwal that he defrauded Sokoto State government with over 189 billion naira. Nobody is supporting corruption, but then in a fight of corruption, the fight against corruption should not be selective. It should not be party line, right? Adam Soshomole made it clear that the moment you enter APC, that your sins are forgiven. Your sins are not just forgiven, but your sins are forgotten. Just enter APC and your sins are. So you see, Tinubu is trying at all costs to create a one-party state. How can a country as diverse, as multilingual as Nigeria now be reduced to just one party? Then where is democracy? Of course, there is no democracy in a country where the entirety of the political atmosphere is reduced to just one party. It's questionable and it's unavoidable. It's questionable and it is a danger to Nigerian democracy, and it has to be rejected by all. All voices of dissent should come out and condemn it. One, to be clear, we are not encouraging that corrupt officials or ex-officials should not be arrested. That's not what we are saying. But then, it should not be seen to be a political witch hunt, as is the case against Aminu Tambuwal currently, simply because Aminu Tambuwal has been seen mingling among the coalition group. The next will be El-Rufai. They go after, then they go after other key coalition leaders. This is not how you run a country. Nigeria is too big for one individual. Tinubu is old. Tinubu is not just old, but Tinubu is corrupt. Tinubu is bringing bad image to Nigeria. Tinubu has a drug case hanging. In the US, it's officially documented and he forfeited $460 million for the US government in order not to go to jail. The same person claims he's not fighting corruption, using the FCC against political opponents. That's the kind of country we are. How can a man with his hands full of blood at that, claim he wants to clean the house? It's not possible. And I align my thoughts with Mr. Peter who has said that a thief cannot come through the window and pretend to be cleaning the house. That's the case here. All this rascality have to end come 2027. And I'm calling on all young, vibrant Nigerians to take back their country. Mr. John, I'm going for please, you can have the mic in case you want to have more to say. in respect to the headlines.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Ako. I also want us to look critically at this number 4 headline. Nigerians spend 22 billion on Aso Rock Clinic, yet President Tinubu often travels to UK hospital for medical tourism. If you also look at this, you see, sometimes it becomes very, very tiring talking about Nigeria and the issues of Nigeria. But it's just that as it is, we can't stop talking. As of today, the president of the Senate is in UK for medical treatment in a country where 22 billion has been spent on setting up a clinic. I can't understand. You know what 22 billion, not 22,000, not 22 million, billion to set up a clinic, and that clinic is not worth treating any of these people. Then what exactly was this money used for? So these are the issues. Now, like our principal, Mr. Peter Obi said, if the head is rotting, it is difficult for you to want to do any kind of correction. Now, don't forget that people are responsible for disbursing this money. People are responsible for diverting this money and all of the sorts. Are you telling me that those people too will not find a way of helping themselves along the way? Of course they will. No, but if there's no way in this world you will say that you have invested as much as 22 billion in a hospital. That hospital should be more than a world-class hospital, ordinarily. Then you have invested 22 billion in a hospital and the hospital is not functional. It's a laughable issue, my brother. So sometimes it is better not to even talk about all of these things. But what can we do? We have to keep talking. So it is important that this hospital be commissioned for use after spending 22 billion, and the relevant officers that this hospital was made for should begin to use them so that we can begin to save some of this money that is being repatriated outside for the benefit of our country and for our economic benefits. It's very, very important. Thank you.
Yes, Mr. John Agbonifo, you can only imagine if the 22 billion naira has been judiciously used to invest on our primary health care across the country. You can only imagine the impacts. We have primary health care that have no power supply. We have primary health care where the state of the medical facilities there is in shambles. We have primary health care where it's smelling. There are no bed space available for patients. There are no drugs available for patients. Yet, the current administration deemed it fit to invest 22 billion naira on hospitals for just the president and vice president. 22 billion naira. Yet, they are not even using it. If they have headache, they travel to UK. If they have stomach pain, they travel to UK. That is how they keep traveling to UK till they bring back, they now import them back in body bags. Because you cannot continue to cheat your people, destroy your homeland, and expect to end well. It is very pathetic and very, very, very sad. It's a sad thing, a sad moment to be in Nigeria and continue to discuss how terrible the current administration has been. I watched Babachi Alawal, who gave a very, very critical analysis of Tinubu, that he has successfully urbanized the Nigerian federal government, that all his appointees are just Yorubas. I mean, we should be looking at a country that focuses on competency, capacity, integrity, credibility, and accountability. All that have to do with credible indices of a good leader. And in every tribe in Nigeria, in every region, in every state, there are people that have character, there are people that have integrity, there are people that have credibility, there are people that have competency. There is no tribe in Nigeria, there is no state in Nigeria that does not have such people. Throw it open, let people aspire, let people contest for it. But then, nepotism is the order of the day. The bigotry that is in the mind of Bola Tinubu is unimaginable. His hatred for every other tribe in Nigeria is unimaginable. So these are the factors that are standing on his way. For 2027 is settled. Tinubu is not going back to Aso Rock. It's settled. And if the Nigerian people go docile, I'll give up on the Nigerian youths. But I don't see it happening, and I pray it doesn't happen. So on this note, I welcome Grace. Excuse me. Grace, thank you for joining us on Platform.
Sorry, Mr. Ako. Why still speaking to issues of medical provision in the country? You see, you discover that you just mentioned the primary health institution and their non-functionality. You see, the most embarrassing thing, my brother, is that these things are not even in existence, or they are not in existence, or near not in existence. One should expect that you should have a functional primary health care in every ward, at least somewhere that you can go to for an effective first aid in every ward of the federation, every ward. You know, that when you have a minor case, you can easily go there.
Thank you, Mr. John. Thank you for that, for taking that word. I don't know if I've said it before. There was a time I held a town hall meeting with some members at overseas community where I was explaining for them things that should be available in the world. Primary health care, standard one, security outpost, water supply, standard water, reliable water supply, 24 hours. These are the things I was mentioning for them. Please go on.
One should know that there should be a standard primary health care in every ward. Then you also now graduate to ensuring that in every state you have also, or in every city, every senatorial district, there's a major standard secondary health care. Then before you don't get to tertiary health care. But the reverse is the case. If you go to all the cities where you have these teaching hospitals, those are the first point of call for everybody that is sick within the town and beyond. If you come to Edo State, for example, everybody that is sick in Edo South and in other senatorial districts all come to UBTH, University of Benin Teaching Hospital, which is not supposed to be the case. The hospital that is supposed to be a research spot, and you are supposed to have very, very peculiar cases coming there, is where people come with malaria. You know, so it just makes sense.
We are losing you. I don't know what's wrong with your network today.
Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now?
I can hear you now.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I was saying that you don't discover a situation where people go with illness as simple as malaria to teaching hospital. Those are illnesses that should be taken care of at the level of primary health care. You know, except that you have a reference case that you cannot go beyond that to secondary health care and finally to tertiary health care. But no, they go and start from malaria, headache, you take it to tertiary health care health institution. So thereby making mess of the whole arrangement. You know, we're just like people who are living. We're just like people who are living in the zoo. We just live like people that have no direction because the government has made it so. So many of these things are very, very unspeakable, as a matter of fact, my brother. So I don't know what we are going. It's going to take a long time, though. But I think the orientation has to change from now. Just like you have said, if we first of all, yes, go on. You went to say something.
On this note, having lamented over a considerable period of time, I think we'll be using this forum now to now itemize how a country should be built. What are the basic amenities that should be available per ward? What are the basic amenities that should be available per LGA and what have you? So that we will now table it to form the policy ahead of 2027. How about that?
Yes, it makes a lot of sense because governance must be functional with a direction. Do you understand? That is why most of the times you discover that even these politicians they don't have a work plan coming into office. They just come in and before you know what's happening, everybody just taking money and helping themselves, and before you know what's happening, it is the end of the tunnel and everybody go home. You should come into office with a direction, with a purpose, and you should be able to determine this is what I want to achieve within this tenure that I want to stay here. If you come in and say within the first 4 years, you want to ensure that in every ward there's a standard primary healthcare. If that's the only thing you are able to achieve, leave the others. By the time you have left the office, it will be written down and known that yes, this issue, this problem has been solved. So no government will come again and go and talk about primary healthcare. That has been solved. Let the next government also come in and say, okay, let us see how we provide water for our people in all the wards. No, and that is also solved. If you solve that, then the next is education. If we take it gradually like that, and everybody's serious about it, before you know what is happening, we have a working economy. But no, everybody will come. For instance, look at ordinary refinery, not functional. We have refineries, about 3-4 refineries. None of them is functional. You cannot even fix a refinery. Is that not laughable? Are you telling me that if those refineries were owned by individuals, would they not be working? They'll be working. From government to government, they are able to fix refinery.
I watched a video where a Delta State indigene made a video of his LGA where the road is full of water, and he was calling out his LGA chairman, the LGA chairman in this locality, to come and fix the road. Do you know he got threats the next day? The LGA chairman walked up to his mother to warn his son and open threats. Why?
Yes, in our environment, it's not impossible. You know, we see stories of journalists and activists who speak out being harassed and embarrassed every day. As we speak, is Sowore not in police custody? What is the offense? And now every day, the presidency keeps saying that they have tripled the allocation that goes to states. And no state governor has come out to say, this is not correct. You know, everybody has kept mute. Now, if that be the case, if the allocation that go to states on a monthly basis have been tripled, then what are this money being used for? So for me, it is beyond the federal government emphasizing that they have tripled the money that goes to states. I think the federal government too should also ask.
The guy on X made it very clear that payment of salary is not an achievement.
Exactly. You can't say because you are paying salary, so therefore your government is doing well. Payment of salary is not an achievement. Salary is supposed to come from production. If you have a workforce that is productive, they are supposed to make their salary and also make income for the organization. That's the way business is run. Okay? So it is not taking money from a particular person to be paying everybody's salary. That's not business now. So we should find out what are the governors doing with this money, because as far as I'm concerned, there's no addition since they came into office. apart from increase in their convoy, nothing else that we see. You know, so where are this money being channeled? What industries are this money channeled? What institutions are this money channeled? We're just talking about decadence of various institutions right now, talking about decadence of medical institutions, talking about decadence of education, water supply, and all of that. So which institutions are this money being channeled to? Where are they being used? Is it after they have left office, then you now begin to ask EFCC to pursue them? And at the end of the day, they cannot recover. Even if they recover, we will not also see what they have used the money for. I think we should be alive to being accountable. It is very important. Okay, we must be alive to be accountable, and we must also have a design where our state accounts are being audited periodically. 3 months, you should have 3 months performance account, 6 months performance account of every state, so that we know what they are doing with the money they are getting. So you will not be able to estray how much came into the state within the period, how much was spent within the period in the state, and what were this money spent for. How much, beyond the money that you also get from this government, how much is your own state internally generated revenue? How much is this money? My brother, ordinary local government, if you know how much they generate at local government level every month, you'll be shocked. Not talk of states. And we don't see where any of these monies are spent.
To make matter worse, I watched a video that is already making the rounds on X, where the Minister of Power was unveiling his private residence, a very huge mansion. And Nigerians are criticizing him that in the country, the money that is meant for development of power projects has been siphoned by the Minister of Power, converting it into private estates.
Can you imagine that? It is only in Nigeria that you see a politician
he has friends and allies who are praising him.
Yes, there is a pastor or a man will go and open the house for him. And they'll be singing praises and doing thanksgiving. And this is a man that came into office.
This country need overhauling.
He came into office.
This 2027, there's problem.
Nigeria is the only country where you have a minister driving a Rolls Royce and is proud of it without any other support, apart from about salary from government, and he's driving a Rolls Royce, and nobody's asking him anything. It is only Nigeria.
Nobody. Nigeria is a country where thieves, armed robbers, will jack power, stealing the government money. He goes to church, he goes to mosques to give zakat, to give tithes, to give offering, and he gets celebrated. You could see in the video, the one I just told you, the Minister of Power is being celebrated by friends and family. How much is the salary of a minister? Let us start from there. How much is it? Is it equated to the value of that building? These are the things. It's not equating to the value of the building. So we have a whole lot of situations to tackle. The new Nigeria mantra, the new Nigeria project, the new Nigeria vision is a rough journey, and we are determined to face it head on. Because at the end of the day, we have no any other country to go for. Nigeria is our only country, and we must fight for it because we deserve all the good things in life as citizens. As it is in Nigeria, the question of the citizens has been taken away by the elites. Mr. Tinubu made a video where he said the Nigerian elites that are in charge of the mass Nigerian wealth are less than 1%. The Nigerian elites, they've hijacked the Nigerian wealth and they keep sharing it among their families from generation to generation. When it's time for election, they will come and apply divide and rule on our people. How do they apply it? They say, no, this person is not your tribe. This candidate is not a religion. This candidate, if he comes, is going to share Nigeria and divide Nigeria. They that are not dividing Nigeria, what progress are they making in the lives of the citizenry? Nigeria is a country where the governments have created more poverty, sink more Nigerians into poverty compared to China and India. Nigeria have more people in poverty than China and India combined together. So that's the state, that's where we are. And government went into coalition with the ADC, with the assumption, with the mindset, with the plans of forming a formidable party for the masses, a party where a son of a nobody can aspire to become a leader in Nigeria through presenting himself to the political party, indicating interest to contest, and he gets support without necessarily depending on going through the rigors of primary election, where dollars change hands. That's not the kind of party we want to build. That's not the ADC that went into an MOU to build. But then, ADC government have been sidelined, pushed to the backdrop by the same political buccaneers, the political criminals, the corrupt politicians. They come from all political parties and suppress government. Today, government is nowhere to be found. Out of the 51 NWC executives that were appointed, none were found worthy to be given to government. And government will challenge this rascality, no matter how long it will take. We are currently in the court of public opinion, and that's why we are bringing up this issue so that Nigerians will know about it. In case government activate the last option, which is by going to courts. So that's where we are today, and we encourage all Nigerians to keep hope alive. But they should understand that the ADC we sold out to Nigerian people, we advertised to the Nigerian people, is not the same ADC today. If ADC has refused to keep her promise, otherwise known as MOU, that have been activated as a contract between government and ADC, and the former ADC national chairman, Chief Bravo Kwams, told government to go to hell. Is that the same set of people that bring about a new Nigeria? Don't deceive yourself. Until we get it right. The reason why government is fighting hard to be part of the setting of ADC is to ensure that our members will stand, put foot on the ground, and ensure that that which government stands for, competency, capacity, credibility, zero corruption, accountability, all these things will form the front burner of decision-making process of the ADC. But today, we are nowhere to be found. So the battle continues until we achieve success at the end of the tunnel. Ladies and gentlemen, if you have a final closing remark, please unmute and speak. You already have the topics of the day, and we have overshot our time. In the space of 5 minutes or less, we'll be drawing close tonight's show. Do we have more contributors? I saw Mr. Idris join us, Mr. Idris Abubakar and one other. Do we have more contributors? It's all right. In the absence of more contributors, we've come close to rounding up tonight's program. This is Kobe People's Parliament, where we discuss passionately socio-political issues as they affect the Nigerian people. The Nigerian people have been suppressed, downplayed, and outcasted by the same political ruiners who call themselves leaders. They've destroyed the country, they've stolen the wealth of the country, they've done everything humanly possible to see that the Nigerian state is sink down on a daily basis. And we, the young Nigerians, are here to say enough is enough. We cannot continue in this rascality. We cannot continue to live in fear. You cannot kill everybody. Bola Tinubu, you cannot destroy everybody. There is always a time to quit. And if you don't quit, Nigerian youth will send you back to Lagos come 2027. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us. I remain Mr. Ark Christian Roche, otherwise known as the Due Process. It's a pleasure to have you watching us live here at the DM show or joining us on Zoom. Many thanks and God bless you. Good night and have a lovely night rest. Mr. John Agolefo, thank you for joining. And every other person that joined us, we say thank you and God bless you all. Bye-bye.
Yeah, good night and thank you very much.
Yes, thank you. Someone is just joining us and we are running up the program already. Tomorrow is another time. Good night and have a lovely night rest.